Okay, welcome. Welcome, everyone. This is our June 4th regular town council meeting, and we have the privilege of having a lot of guests here in our audience this evening. First, I'd like to recognize our former Mayor Jack Capp from the town of Haymarket in our audience. It's a privilege to have you here, sir. Could we have a roll call, please?
Morris.
Yes.
Cole.
Here.
Edwards.
Here.
Leek.
Here.
Leek.
Here.
Casanello.
Present.
Shannon.
Here.
Great. All right, our first item is our invocation, where we have Reverend Christopher Murphy here to give us invocation. And also, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about the church and when you meet and everything, feel free, and then we'll stand and hear your word.
Thank you. We're at St. Catherine Drexel Church, and we're just a little mission right now. That means we don't have a church building, and we don't have, I'm one priest, one pastor, and the main parish is in Middleburg, St. Stephen's. So I go back and forth to the two congregations, and you may have seen our signs along Route 15, where we hope to build in the not too distant future, but nothing too soon. So we need lots of prayers and support to accomplish that task. We have the congregation, we have a lot of good willing souls, but a lot of temporal items involved in getting that up and running. So that's where we are with that project, and you'll see more about that in the not too distant future. But I know it's a busy night tonight. We're making a lot of sacrifices here, like the hockey games and stuff. So
Yeah, we're watching the clock too, sir.
And Heavenly Father, we have so much to thank you for, especially for this great freedom to gather as a free society and a democracy and exercise the gift of citizenship. With these many gifts, we ask that you bless us. Your Son tells us that to ask and we shall receive, to knock and it shall be ours. And so we come to you, mindful that your gifts of the Holy Spirit, of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding can be so fruitfully applied in this setting today, and we ask that he might send that Spirit into those hearts that are open. And most of all, may we also have that Holy Spirit's gift of fortitude to carry it out and to do what is right. For you tell us that to exercise authority in your name, the best we can do is to serve. Might we do that faithfully, as you have instructed, as you've given such great example. In Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good night. Go Cats.
Yep. There you go. In our next item, we have some girls from the Girl Scout Troop 90,064. Is that right? Yep. Hannah Wells, Lauren, is it Rasmussen? All right. And Naomi, is it Burrell? Great. And Sheila Rhodes? Stella. Apologies. Okay. We'll have you up here, and then we'll also stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. We'll get that into the camera, right?
Good.
All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow, that was great. Thank you very much. Great job. All right, with no objection, we're going to put the minutes in the citizens' time right after the mayor's announcement. So our next item will be our swearing-in ceremony. We have the Honorable Jacqueline Smith from the Prince William County Clerk of the Circuit Court here to do this swearing in. So how would you like just us to come up in front there and for the council? Okay.
Yes, if the council members will come forward for the administration of the oath.
Okay. So we have. Yep.
I ain't never. Trust me. Know my place. Bye.
So maybe we have it all arranged like over here.
Oh, so we can get on here. you, Mr. Mayor. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
to uphold the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia,
and to faithfully and impartially
and to faithfully and impartially
discharge all the duties
discharge all the duties
incumbent upon me
incumbent upon me
as mayor for the town of Haymarket
as the mayor of the town of Haymarket
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Okay, our next item is going to be our proclamation. I think we have something to be read. And do we have a representative? Oh, great, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And do we want to go ahead and go up and receive that?
Hi, how are you? I'm Colleen Raftover. Nice to meet you. Should I stand next to you? Should we bring it in?
All right. Thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you for the support.
We have a resolution I'd like to read to you.
Oh, great.
A proclamation to observe Leg Calvé Perthes Awareness Month. Whereas it is estimated that 1 in 20,000 people have Leg Calvé Perthes disease, or simply Perthes. And whereas Perthes is a rare disease where the blood supply to the hip is temporarily interrupted, causing bone and tissue damage, and whereas the disease most often affects children ages 4 to 9 and occurs more often in boys than girls, and whereas the disease occurs in stages lasting many years, during which time children with Perthes may experience severe pain, and whereas treatment ranges from activity restriction, including bracing or casting and wheelchair restriction, to surgeries, and whereas bone deterioration eventually stops, Perthes survivors may experience early onset arthritis, gait abnormalities, muscle weaknesses, and decreased range of motion in adulthood. And whereas for those affected by Perthes awareness, education, and a community of support is key, the Leg Calvé Perthes Foundation is committed to be that resource. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Town Council of Haymarket, Virginia, does hereby recognize the month of June 2018 as Leg Calvé Perthes Month and encourage all citizens to observe and support the activities, programs, and ceremonies that bring awareness during the month of June and throughout the year. In witness thereof, this 4th day of June 2018.
Thank you. Sorry, my little guy is a fan of a lot of words, but he knows how to say the phone. Yeah, he knows what he wants when he wants it.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Fantastic.
I don't know if you're prepared, if you wanted to say.
I'll just say a few words about Perthes. So I'm the founder of the Leg Calvé Perthes Foundation. I founded it in the middle of last year. My inspiration is my daughter, who's with us today, Kaylin. She's 4 years old, and she actually is bilateral, so she has it in both of her hips. And there was not a streamlined resource for education or awareness for Perthes, so it's our goal to continue to educate the general population and just drive advocacy. It's kind of known as an invisible disease. Not a lot of people, you can't see it. It's not something that you wear on the outside of your body. It's something that impacts the inside of your body, and often it's painful and it's a long process. The femoral head will break down, and then it will take time to regrow. So they get to, unfortunately, have to be pulled from a lot of different activities, and so we just try to do everything that we can and make it fun. One of our initiatives for the foundation is to create a contact registry. So we have about 300 people in the contact registry today, where we're going to use that as a future research initiative and partner with we have 3 top surgeons on our board in the United States, and hopefully some celebrity sponsors who have come on that also had Perthes as a child, so we can help elevate all of this. And I actually let them all know about this today. So they were very excited, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, we have a proclamation that we could read to him.
No, we don't have a proclamation.
Just certificate, yeah. All right, our next item on our agenda is from our Boy Scout Alexander Kelly. If he's here, yeah, there he is. Yeah, for those that don't know, Alexander had chose his Eagle Scout project to be here in the town of Haymarket, and did a great project up at our Haymarket Park. And we have something we'd like to read to Alexander and present this with him.
A certificate of appreciation from the town of Haymarket. This certificate is awarded to Alexander Kelly in recognition and sincere appreciation of your time and expertise in the construction of the Haymarket Community Garden, given this 4th day of June 2018 at the regular meeting at the Town Council. Congratulations.
Sincerely appreciate that. Absolutely. You want to say a couple words?
Yes, please.
Sure, absolutely.
Hi, my name is Alexander Kelly. I'm a member of Boy Scout Troop 91. I'm a freshman at Battlefield High School. I recently did my Eagle Scout project for the town of Haymarket, in which I led my troop in building the community garden for the town. I'd like to thank Ms. Lockhart and Ms. Andrews, who worked with me to achieve my goal in planning and building the garden. I'd like to thank Mayor Leek for coming out and supporting us and giving us warm, freshly baked donuts. They were delicious. I know they all loved it. I'd like to thank the town council and the architectural review board who approved my project and let me go through with it. Thanks to Cookies and Cream Shop for letting us use their bathrooms throughout the project, because we needed that. I'd like to thank Dr. Laundry, who let me use his tractor to move soil into the dumpster. It was fun and technically my first driving lesson.
Yeah.
Finally, I'd like to thank all of the volunteers and those who supported me throughout the project. It was an honor to build this for the town of Haymarket. I hope the garden is something that people can enjoy for years to come.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, our next item will be our minutes for approval. We have May 7th and May 29th. Entertain a motion at this time.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting, May 7th, 2018, and the public hearing, May 29th, 2018.
Second by Councilman Leek, discussion on the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Abstain.
And one abstention. Any Thanks for the abstention. Anything you want to record? No? Okay, all right. Next item is our citizens' time. For a record, if you could just come up to the podium and give your just name and address for the record, but I'll open it up for citizens' time at this time. Yeah. Yeah.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is John Capp. What most of you know me as Jack. I reside at 8010 Six Towers Road, Manassas, Virginia, 20112. For those of you that, well, they know now because you introduced me, but I was here from 1990 to 2003 that I was the mayor. Back in the 1990s, we applied for an ICE-T grant to do the street enhancement project. And I might say that it was Dottie Leonard's dream project. We were poor back then and needed to raise money. So my wife suggested that we sell street lights for $600. I added park benches, trash receptacles, and brick planters to that. We raised over $30,000. I personally sold 45 street lights. The first phase, 2 blocks from Fayette to Madison Street, 27 street lights were installed. Jim Durham of Precision Engineering and I installed the plaques on those 27 street lights for the first 27 people who purchased one. It's going on 20 years since I sold those street lights, and at least 4 years since the next phase from Madison Street to the Baptist Church has been completed. As of today, the 18 people who paid $600 for their streetlights have not had a plaque put on the streetlight that they purchased. I mentioned this to the mayor a couple of times, but still the plaques aren't up there. It's a little embarrassing, to say the least, that those people or businesses have not been recognized. And I would hope that you could get the plaques installed at least by Haymarket Day. And I was curious when the remainder of the streetscape going to be done. The town property and the old schoolhouse is not done. And another point, just for your information, and you people had nothing to do with it, is that ugly traffic light out there. We had an approved VDOT plan to install 4 posts, same style as the street lights, only shorter, just like in DC, 1 on each corner. We paid $6,600 for the 4 junction boxes and the pull wires to go under all 4 corners. I was told that some engineer from VDOT stated if that monstrosity wasn't installed, then VDOT would not maintain it. I'd just like to inform you, in case you didn't know the story of why the ugly streetlights there. So I thank you and have a good evening.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you. 6,600. I guess that went into your coffers.
Dottie Leonard, 14801 Washington Street. Now you know why I have to keep on you guys, because he keeps on me. I wanted, first of all, to thank all of you for your service. For some of you said you do 1 term, you did 2. I wish you would have done 3 or more. I'm very grateful for those of you who are, this is your first year and you've been elected. I'm grateful for those of you who stood for what you believed in, whether it pleased me or didn't please me, and whether it pleased the leadership or didn't please them. You stood for what you believed in. I'm feeling very strongly. First of all, I want to bring up the subject of salaries. I don't know if the people in the public know that you all virtually work for nothing. It's a pitiful income, and I think, Councilman Joe took nothing for his services. unless they made you. I can't remember if you were required to receive it. I know you didn't want to take it. And maybe Mayor Cap will remember that I made the motion for him to get $500 a month about 25 years ago. And I think that was still going on, which is pretty sad. Most people would think a mayor would be making a lot more than that, and all of you are sacrificing. I have to say that. The staff, I think, is paid pretty good, but you elected officials are sacrificing. I'm sorry to see you go. You've been a pretty good guy this term. So.
Just for you, darling.
I told you I'd be watching, and I have been. So, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for your service, and I'll be watching the ARB. I'm hoping that we get, I don't mean to be mean, even though I've been called mean. I think the guidelines were placed a long time ago, and maybe you haven't had access to them. Maybe you haven't had those tools that we used. Somehow, in the evolution, things just got out of hand, and the colors and the styles of the buildings, but I hope it will be enforced from now on. I will be watching. I want to thank you for your patience with me. I know I can be tough, but I've earned it. All the gray hairs I have, I've earned the right. I watched Mr. Bear, and I learned from him. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Evening, Bob Weir, 6853 St. Paul Drive. I'm going to make this quick because there's a puck drop in about 35 minutes, and that's a lot more important than sitting in here. Sorry. I want to offer you some early congratulations, because if you guys adopt the tax rate tonight, you're going to surpass Herndon as the #2 most expensive town in Northern Virginia. You will have the highest aggregate tax rate of any town in Northern Virginia except Dumfries. And I would note that Dumfries has both a public works department and a building official and building department, something that we don't have and we don't have to fund. So just from the citizens, thanks for the higher tax rate.
And is anybody else would like to address the council at this time? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and go into our next item is our department reports. Chief Lands.
Good evening.
Sir.
Before I start, I'd like to just say a thank you to the outgoing council members, Mr. Morris, Mr. Cole, Mr. Passanello, everyone up on this dais, minus Mr. Shannon, was here for my interview. I appreciate you guys giving me a chance to come make a difference in this town. From the police department as a whole, we thank you for your support. For the police department helping us to regain some independence and some just helping the guys feel like they were wanted and appreciated and supporting the department as a whole, so thank you for that. Anybody have any questions on the statistics for the month? All right, just going to go over a couple items. The new RMS system that we began last month was implemented this month. We haven't gone department-wide yet. Right now, just myself and Sergeant Shaver are working out some of the details in the RMS system. I'd like to give credit to Sergeant Shaver, who's here tonight. He's done a lot of work on this, tirelessly trying to figure out with the new system and the people who run it, all the kinks and the quirks of it, get everything worked out so it can go live with the officers. We haven't had a new RMS system in over 20 years. So with new systems come new challenges. So Sergeant Shaver's working on that.
Hey, Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me. For those sitting here who may not know what that acronym means, could you explain
It's a
those?
records management system. It's what we report all of our crimes that happen in the town to the state of Virginia, and they report it to the federal government. So it's a system that we have to put all of our reports in that has a way that they can read it, and that's how we get some of our funding from the state to fund the police department. Okay. We also attended the Rotary Club event, the Flags for Our Heroes. Great event. I think it can be 2 or 3 times bigger next year with the support of the town, and they worked out some of their issues since this was their first year. So I was able to speak in that and read some names of the heroes, and that was a great honor for the police department to be involved in that. And then we were involved this past weekend in the health and fitness event. We did a road closure, and the bike team was out. We did some competitions with some of the citizens there for planking and push-ups. I'd like to point out that Officer O'Neill lost the planking to a girl.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. So before I go into the officer highlights, is there any questions from the council based on anything that happened for the month?
Not for the month, but I wasn't here for the last meeting, and there was some discussion about the information collection we're doing with the county. If anybody would like to speak to that, I'd kind of try to give a contrary view on why we should continue doing it unless anybody else.
So what we decided, Sergeant Shaver and I, is that we'll continue to keep that data. We just won't report it on a monthly basis to you guys, but we weren't going to stop.
You're going to keep tracking it,
We're
because
gonna
it took you on the front end a lot of time.
Yes,
to get
sir.
that together.
There were some things that we can cut out that were very time-consuming that won't affect the end product of if it ever comes up again. So that's what we're going to do.
Well, I hope it does come up again, and perhaps we won't have to raise taxes to pay the county for your connection to them.
Yes,
the
sir.
information flow. I'm not sure a lot of people are aware of that, but they should be, that we have to pay for that access to their communication system. So
Agreed.
I hope the next council will take a look at that and consider it. And I would be more than willing to help, because I don't think it's just a matter of the time spent outside of town. I think there are offsets that we provide just by having a police department here to the county. So I think you should really take a look at that. Thank you.
I agree. Any other questions? Okay, I'd just like to go over something real quick. We had an uptick of vehicle thefts and vehicle vandalisms between February and about 3 weeks ago. It really went crazy during the month of May. And I'd just like to go over a couple things that happened during this whole time, just to give you an overview of what we were working on, and I have several attaboys I'd like to do for the officers out here and a citizen. Starting back in January, it began to increase. We had a work truck from B&M Metals that was stolen, and it was recovered on Antioch Road just down the street with several items missing from it. Then in March, we had a Toyota Camry stolen out of Longstreet Commons. It was recovered a few days later, several miles away. We got some property out of that. We were able to process some evidence out of that vehicle to begin to build a suspect list. Officer O'Neill was very aware of who he thought it was, and we started to build on that hunch he had, and so we started an investigation. He opened up an investigation on that, out of that vehicle that was stolen. In the same afternoon that the Toyota was recovered, we had an Impala that was stolen out of the backyard of a home on Artemis Road, which is just a couple miles from here. And that vehicle was recovered in Manassas a few days later with the tags of the stolen Toyota out of Longstreet Commons. So that we started to put them all together. We collected some more evidence out of that to help build an additional suspect list on that. In April, we had a Honda that was stolen from Rogue Forest, which, as you know, is just outside of town. We found that a few days later. The county found that occupied with a couple suspects in it, so then we were able to start interviewing them and start to build a better case against who we thought was doing it. In May, we had a flurry of events in a 16-hour period. We had vehicles broken into in Sherwood Forest where an iPod was taken, and we had a van stolen from Jefferson Street containing a really expensive camera. We also had a Honda stolen from Nottingham Place, which is also just a few miles outside of town. and a Ford box truck was stolen off of Heathcote, all within a 16-hour period. So we knew then that they were starting to ramp up and that it was a lot more than just one or two persons that were doing this. That's when Officer O'Neill started in earnest of kicking into high gear and working with Prince William County CID in tracking what we found later was the camera that was stolen out of the van on Jefferson Street was pawned in a pawn shop in Manassas. So Officer O'Neill went over there and obtained video of the two suspects coming in and pawning the camera. Turned out to be the exact people that he was figuring that they were. So we got the video from that. And as he was coming home or coming back to town from that event, the van was recovered. The van that was stolen on Jefferson Street was recovered on Manahoic Place. And that was our break in the case, because each time that a vehicle was stolen, when it was dumped, it was wiped pretty much clean and cleaned out. After they were done with it, they were very efficient in getting rid of most of the evidence. This one they weren't done with yet. We found it prior to them being done with it, and we were able to obtain a ton of evidence out of that vehicle. Receipts from stores where they got cigarettes, pawn receipts, and multiple prints. From that, Officer O'Neill was able to go to Food Line right here in town and obtain the video of the two people purchasing the cigarettes from the receipt that was in the van. And a lot of stuff started to come together from that event. There was also soda cans in there where we got fingerprints from. With this information, the Haymarket Police Department was able to obtain a search warrant for the suspect's home on Jockey Club, and we were able to also obtain multiple warrants for the suspect that lived there, plus the other suspect that we believe to be involved. Since that time that we served the search warrant, not a single vehicle has been broken into or stolen, so we truly believe that that case was solved. Off of that, during the investigation, every single officer of the Haymarket Police Department had a hand in what happened, from the officers who took the reports to officers who got the information from Sherwood Forest and Longwood. Just every single person was involved, although Officer O'Neill took the lead in this case. We also had help from Prince William CID, Prince William County Patrol, and Prince William County Crime Analysis with their flyers. The van was reported stolen on our Facebook page, and within 3 hours it was recovered based on a citizen jumping on Facebook and saying, I saw that vehicle. The suspects were charged, which brought to a close 6 stolen car cases, and we now have the suspects for multiple vehicle tamperings as well as other incidents that occurred in the East End, some of which involved firearms and drugs. So I truly believe that we had a huge hand in bringing down a vehicle theft ring that was, they do have ties to gangs, and it was all happening within the town or a 3-mile radius from the town. So I would like to recognize a few people. First off, I'd like to have Miss Kimberly Poth come up. Miss, you guys know how very proud I am of our Facebook, and we from going from 800 followers a year and a half ago to 4,000 now. We can't come right here so the camera can get you. We can't do our jobs effectively unless our community is involved, and that was one of the things that I've been trying to implement since I've been here. Community, community, community. Our guys know when there's a car that's not supposed to be there, what events are going. We're there for everyone, and our Facebook page is there to put out positive information to our citizens. Ms. Poth saw the Facebook post that I put with a flyer with a picture of the van, and I believe within 30 minutes of me putting up the post, she reported it. We can't have broken this case without her reporting that van to us. As I say, they weren't done with that van, and we were able to get a lot of evidence out of that van because she saw it and reported it. So I'd like to recognize Ms. Poth as a citizen who went above and beyond to help out her community and help the police department. So. Also, if Officer O'Neill and Officer Shaver would stand, or Sergeant Shaver would stand up, please. Officer O'Neill, like I said, handled this case from beginning to end and did a great job. He worked with Prince William County and with every officer in this department to bring a closure to this case. Also, probably the person he talked to the most was Sergeant Shaver. When we were doing the search warrant and trying to get everything together for that, which was a big ordeal because there was some factors that we needed a SWAT team for when we hit the house. Sergeant Shaver was on his day off, and the entire day was on the phone with Prince William County and the Virginia State Police to get things in order so that we could do what we needed to do. So I'd like to recognize these two as the ones that were mainly responsible for breaking this case wide open and solving it. So good job. So that's all I have, unless anyone has any questions of me.
Chief, I just got a couple quick things. First of all, that's a good example. I have to agree with Vice Mayor why Prince William, why we should be getting some funding or some breaks there, because otherwise they would have had to do that. The question is, would they have done it? Is efficient? They have good police officers, no doubt. We have better. Great job to our police department, but you need to, the plank defeat is not good. He needs to work on it. Thank you.
Any other comments for our chief?
About the car show on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, we do have a car show coming up on Saturday from 12 to 3. Please come out and support it. We've got 51 cars registered so far. We expect probably 10 to 15 more to show up, if not more, the day of. All funds will go to purchase defibrillators for the police cars. So please come and support that. Yes, ma'am. It's in the QBE parking lot.
And probably just another special thanks to the Virginia State Police that helped you for the tactical.
Yes, they came out at 1 day's notice, less than that probably. They had about 15 guys, and they were wonderful. Came in, did the tactical stuff that they do, and got out. Never asked for any accolades. They were fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great. Thank you, Chief.
And here's the Caps taking a 3-1.
We have 20 minutes left, Chief. All right, thank you. Next up, our planners report. Ms. Emily, we're on page 14.
Good evening. Thank you.
Hopefully everybody read the report, right?
Yes, hopefully everybody read the report. First, thank you to our outgoing council members. It's been fun working with you guys, and hopefully we'll still see you around. Maybe join a board or a commission. I got room. Or residents who have some free time. We had, in the month of May, before I guess reports went in, we had our public hearing for the large project coming in at the fairgrounds, the Crossroads Village Center. That has been continued to June 18th for the Planning Commission. So there's more discussion. I'm working with the developer, and we're coming up with some updates and some additional information for the packet. So other than that, kind of business as usual, typical applications and projects. So are there any questions about the report?
Any questions from Ms. Emily?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, sure do. I didn't say that at the public hearing, but thanks for all your hard work on that. I may not agree with some of it, but I think you've put in a lot of effort, and I just wanted to say that publicly.
Thank you.
I'm a little concerned about the resolution.
Okay.
I'm still curious where that came from. I hadn't seen it until I walked in for the meeting. And I guess my question to you as a professional is, do you think 60 days is enough time for the Planning Commission to work through any issues they have to either deny or approve?
Right. I feel like with the information they've been given and then the questions that came up at the public hearing, I feel that the developer and their team will be able to come back with information. They've already submitted stuff last week. I worked on getting that out to the Planning Commission. And I feel like to really everybody do their homework, having them ask me questions outside of our meetings, come up, talk to me, schedule meetings, call, email. I think that's really where it helps to get the information out, but I feel like 2 months is plenty time for them to kind of do their homework, ask the right questions, and the developer to get back with us. I think we're a small town. I'm here full-time, and I think part of me being here full-time is that I can do the research, I can prepare the information, and work on this, and I don't need to, per se, drag my feet on something that is ready to present to the commission. So I feel like they do have plenty of time to make a decision.
Okay, I just have a couple more questions.
Okay.
Can you expand just a little bit more on your feeling about the public hearing on John Marshall and where you think that might be going? Because I see you were talking about meeting with the developer.
Yes, so the Prince William County Board of Supervisors held a public hearing on John Marshall Commons. It was approved. That was discussed briefly at our last joint public hearing meeting. So I believe that now they're going to be going right into their site plan phasing. So they're going to start submitting documents to the county. I've kind of had this good communication with Steve Donahoe, who is in charge of that project. So I feel very confident that from here on out, he's going to reach out. He's going to make sure we're definitely in the loop. I think communication was dropped when we had a little bit of change of hands with our previous planners and then myself coming on board. I met with Denise Harover the same week that it was approved, and I mentioned to her we do have concerns that the proffers were taken back for the sidewalks, that we were really hoping to get something done there. We want to see our town sidewalks done so we can walk from one end to the other. So she's willing to meet with myself, the property owner at QBE, and then her team to all kind of come to an agreement and maybe work outside of a proffer. This is something she just said, let's toss ideas out, let's all work together. They want to help us. They see how their community can benefit us and how our town benefits their community. So I think they're very positive on it right now. And they still are going to do all the ARB kind of guidelines that they already addressed. Even though I believe they were removed from the statement, they're still going to address those and blend in the communities because they see the point of blending development there. So.
Okay, great. And could you just expand on the boundary line adjustment issue? Speaking of being in the loop, I'm kind of out of the loop on that.
Yes, so the boundary line adjustment issue here in town.
Yeah, the Walter Robinson Lane?
Yes, okay. So back here on Walter Robinson Lane, we do have all of the small parcels already divided out for Robinson's Paradise. This is a boundary line adjustment on 2 existing homes. There's a duplex there, it's 2 different lots. They, one of the residents, the one on the right, is neighbors with a single-family home, and this gentleman would like to do a boundary line adjustment of approximately 5 feet. He just wants to expand his yard a little bit. So I'm working with him to make sure all of the setbacks would be met. Everything is going to meet our zoning ordinance as it stands. So he's just looking to expand his yard a little bit.
Okay. Nicely done, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Two quick things, Mr. Mayor. First of all, what is the timeline you're looking at for John Marshall Commons? Did they give that?
They did not give the timeline. That I'm not sure of. I know they're hoping, I believe, in August or September to submit official site plans to the county. And once they do that, I'll be given 1 mile review. I'll bring it to our planning commission.
Okay. The only other thing I have, again, I caution, and this, I know that it probably, it's not going to be up to us, but outside that town limit, really need to have in writing who's going to maintain that sidewalk. Because I can tell you who it's not going to be, if it's brick.
Right outside of the town limit, just on the other side of the QBE property line in our town boundary, will be a stamped asphalt 10-foot path. So what they're going to do is they're going to mimic our crosswalk paths that we have here. And they're going to do that down there. And Denise Harover did state that that would be within the HOA of the development and the POA there to maintain.
Thank you.
And I will get that in writing for you.
It's like I know it won't be.
Yes.
So, thank you.
You said it already.
Pardon?
You said it already.
Any other questions for Ms. Lindley? Seeing none, great, thank you very much.
Good job. Good job.
Next up, our town engineers report. We're on page 16. If there's, everybody's obviously had a chance to review it. If there's any questions, we can direct those to our town manager, business manager.
Should we wait until he does his report?
Well, we could,
Yeah.
if you have any
Okay.
questions.
Yeah, I'll wait.
Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to our next item, our building officials report. That's a handout that I believe we had on our dais there. As you can see, the revenues continue to grow. And no comments or questions regarding that. We'll move on to our business community relations specialist. Denise Andrews is not able to be here this evening.
I'll be happy to.
Sure.
Attempt to answer any questions.
Yep. Everybody had a chance to review the report, so is there any questions that we had? All right, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to our town treasurer's report. We're on page number 20 of our packet. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Council. The report you're seeing are back from April 30th. On this report, I can tell you at this time that I'm still working on a few delinquent B-Poll applications renewal. Currently, it's not in this report, but currently we're at 80% of that collection. As you can also see, the trend also is that we are well within our budget on the revenue side and on the expenditure side, below what we projected. This time too, I'd like just to let you know, on June 7th, I'll be having my first meeting with Mary Earhart, who is our prep for the auditor, for the audit that happens towards the end in October. So she'll be in here on Thursday all day, and then from there we'll start working on preparing for that end of the fiscal year. This time, is there any questions you guys may have for me?
Go around the dice and see. Any questions for Roberto?
I'd like to take my last shots, but I don't have any questions for you today.
Okay.
Going to miss you, though.
And of course, we're operating in the black, as I think.
We are.
Yeah.
I like this. I don't hold me to it, but so far it's looking good.
Great.
Looking well.
Good deal, sir. All right. All right. Thank you very much. Next up, Mr. Shiro. You said you would be brief tonight, right?
I am. But I would like to say I've greatly enjoyed working with the outgoing council members. I had the privilege twice of working with you, and Haymarket's a great town, and thank you for the confidence and letting me spend some time here a couple times. So it's been great. I appreciate it. My report is included. Unless there are any questions, I won't bore you going through it. I don't see a lot of pretty much routine things we've been carrying out. Just to note that we did contact the county fire marshal's office, and they have agreed to doing some inspections for us on some of the dangerous properties here in town. Also, we are working with a private contractor regarding some ENS issues with one of the projects here in town. So that's under a private contractor in the town. So other than that, I've been working in finance with the treasurer to finalize a budget. And you see some of the things with property management. We had some receptacles we repaired on some of the street poles in front of the town hall here. And I got some bids for crosswalk painting, but we're not going to be able to do them at this point. It's just too expensive. I talked to Steve to see if he has any, Councilman Shannon, to see if he has any leads through VDOT that we might be able to get some more reasonably priced costs on that. Unless there are any questions, I won't take up the time and interfere with the caps.
Sure. Go ahead, Councilwoman Edwards.
I just had one thing, if you could pass it on to Katie, the engineer. I had a resident, a couple of residents stop me when I was out walking. The sidewalk on Washington Street and St. Paul has never been connected. I don't know how that didn't happen when Green Hill was finished and the streetscape was done on Washington Street. The two sidewalks don't connect. There's about 50 feet that you have to walk through the mud and the dirt, and then you get back on the sidewalk. So I don't know if we can look into it and see if that was just something that was missed, or I told them that I would pass it on to the proper person.
Good.
Councilman Cole?
Yeah, the stone house in Payne Lane, have you seen the yard? Have you seen the yard? It's huge. I'm not exaggerating.
The missing roof.
Yes.
Okay.
The house with no roof, but we got to contact the owner and have him
We're-
cut
we're-
that. Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Morris, anything else?
Just the email. You got my email, Miss.
Yes.
So we're good.
And I will be responding to that email, and I will, if it is all right
Yeah.
with you, copy council
Roberta?
on that.
Roberta?
Please. It's just concerning the property adjoining Long Street Commons.
Roberta?
Can you give her the microphone?
Yep. All right. Okay.
Rewind the video.
Yeah, I think, well,
You can rewind the tape.
yeah. And over on the right.
Yeah, I do. The engineer's report, this Haymarket Town Center final site plan. Can you just explain what that is about declining acceptance of revenue sharing funding?
We had two projects, two capital projects that we were carrying. One was a revenue sharing plan for improvements to Washington Street, I think.
It was the turn lane on Jefferson.
No, that's the one we,
Roberta?
I'm sorry, you're right, yeah. Both are on Jefferson. The turn lane on Jefferson was part of the revenue sharing program, where, as we did the site plan here for the building, we were going to do a right turn lane on Jefferson onto Washington. We didn't, some of that funding didn't come through, so we picked between two projects, and the other project, which you'll see on there, is a pedestrian bike walkway that comes down Jefferson to Washington, or not all the way to Washington, but to that very thing for her. That program we are proceeding with. Some of the funding got cut, and we didn't have the capital to continue with the revenue sharing. And after talking to the engineers, I think it would be better to do that project when we do the actual site work here for the building, as opposed to getting ahead of that and doing it before we do the site work here at the building.
And this was the funding that, was it the county, they were handling it?
It
They
was
were spearheading?
VDOT revenue sharing program.
But the county was...
County administers
Yeah,
it, yeah,
okay.
but it's VDOT money. Both cases, that's the case with both.
Okay, I have a question on your report, if I may.
Sure.
Could you just tell us what's happening with the website committee? What's the latest?
We have a final mock-up that we're supposed to be looking at and meeting again, I think.
I think Denise, she put out a link today
Yeah.
for us for the committee members to look at and give some comments and
Yeah.
feedback. The designer, I think, was on maternity leave
Right.
and came back.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had several meetings, and I think we have a design that everyone is pretty comfortable with
Yep.
at this point.
Getting real close.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jerry.
Sure.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none? All right, great. Thank you, sir. Our next item, our action item. We're on page 33 of our packet. Our budget and tax rate.
Yes, Mayor. This, on the agenda this evening for approval by Resolution 2018-4 is the adoption of the FY 18-19 budget, approval of the tax rate for fiscal year 2018-19, and appropriation of the budget spending for that same fiscal year. Those acts are all contained in the enclosed resolution for consideration by the council this evening.
Okay, and at that juncture, I'll entertain a motion.
Sir, I'd like to make a motion for approval of resolution number 2018-014. 04, sorry. Resolution number 2018-04.
Okay?
I second the motion.
Motion and second. Discussion regarding the motion.
Yes, is this where we can speak about our opinion on the budget?
This would be where you would be able to discuss the motion itself.
Okay, then if I can't speak
Discussion on
about
the
my
motion.
opinion on the budget, then let's vote.
Okay. We'll call for a roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Edwards. Yes. Lee.
Yes.
Passanello.
No?
Shannon.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Budget passes. Our next item is our updates. Planning Commission?
Mr. Mayor, as you know, we had our joint session on, I think it was the 17th, and there's a continuation of that for, this Wednesday.
No, Wednesday is your regular meeting.
Yeah, Wednesday is a regular meeting, but we have the 60 days from the 17th to come up with the, this is a Crossroads project, so.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I could just add.
Sure.
There was a concern at the last joint session meeting that the Planning Commission was not meeting on a regular basis because they did not have enough agenda items. Is this issue being taken seriously to make sure that there are planned follow-up meetings just in case the Planning Commission hasn't reached a resolution?
I believe there is. Chairman Caudle, I believe, first of all, he spoke to why there wasn't, why meetings have been canceled, and quite honestly, I think he was right on target. But yes, I'm convinced that Chairman Caudle is going to be all over that, and we'll have the necessary meetings.
I just don't want a situation to arise where we leave it for the last minute, because the 60-day period by which there was a resolution for 30 days and then it was changed, probably first time in the history of town council, but it was changed to 60 days. But now we have a 60-day window in order to arrive at a resolution, and my fear is that if the Planning Commission doesn't get to a reasonable solution to forward it to the council, then automatically it's approved. Correct?
Well, it's not approved. You
Automatically
understand?
it's approved from the Planning Commission
Yeah,
to the council.
Yeah, I think just for clarification, the Planning Commission makes a recommendation.
Yes.
So they can recommend it, approval, or deny it, a recommendation.
But if they don't meet the 60-day period,
There's
it
a hun-
automatically
Right, there's a
recommends.
100-day period that's the bottom line by statute, if I'm not correct. So.
But the reason why I love the fact that Planning Commission is doing the review of it is that they have such intimate details of what is involved. And what I've learned over the last 4 years is that the town council relies so much on the Planning Commission in doing a lot of the groundwork in getting the recommendation to council. So I'm just hoping that over the next 60 days, the Planning Commission doesn't sit back and wait, but plan meetings in order to address the different issues that may arise.
Yeah, hopefully they will take.
And I would agree, and I believe Chairman Caudle and I had a brief discussion about it after the last joint session, and I believe we're going to do our due diligence and come to a recommendation one way or the other.
Good job.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Next item is our ARB update.
We had our historic walking tour on Friday night. Thank you to Bonds Cavassa, she was a big help. And Robert came out. We had technically 40 people if you include those of us who were working, but there were 35 people, and many people I had never seen before. So it was really nice. We managed to skirt the rain. We're looking really forward to doing it again and doing some other buildings. It was definitely a little bit of a learning curve, but it was really good, and it got, everybody out there. Saw a couple familiar residents, but a lot of new faces, and it was nice. People are really interested in what's happening in town, and they're excited for it, so that was good. ARB is going to have a work session with Meladon as well to start talking about designs for the property. I believe that's scheduled for this month, correct? We are still working on the blighted properties, and we will continue to do that.
Great. Okay. Questions to Councilwoman Edwards? Seeing none, our next item is our council member time, coming up on 8 o'clock. Vice Mayor, your closing thoughts and comments.
Oh, I have a lot of thoughts, but I'll limit myself tonight. First of all, I want to congratulate all you new members of the council. I think you're taking on something that's important, and I applaud you for stepping up and being willing to work for the betterment of the town. So thank you all for doing that. I just want to share a couple observations about being on council from my perspective. There are challenges, and I think you have to make sure that you challenge each other and not be afraid to voice a differing opinion. And I think it's important that the communication lines continue to stay open. Very, very important. And it has to be collective decision-making. So I think you'll get off to a good start. There's a lot to learn at the beginning about process, about policy, about procedures. Fortunately, most of you already are somewhat steeped in that, being from other commissions, so that's a plus. So I want to wish you a lot of luck there. The other thing is, I want to thank two people in town. I have to say, and some people aren't going to like it, and I really don't care. But I think there have been two people. First, I want to thank everybody who's come to our meetings. I think it's great that people turn out and voice their opinion. But there are two people in particular, I think, that have done a great job, and I hope they continue to. One of them is Dottie Leonard, and one is Bob Weir. Now, some people might not like that. And I think perhaps Dottie and Bob have a lot in common that they don't realize. And they can, maybe a little bit, but I think perhaps they have more than they think. And the important thing is their willingness to engage and to come to these meetings week after week and to voice their opinion and to bring discussion to this council. And I hope you would continue to do so. So thank you very much, Dottie and Bob. I just want to read one quote from a German theologian, if I can find it. His name is Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And he was a pacifist, and he was all about community. And of course, I can't find it. So I think the point he tried to make was that those who believe that their sole vision is about community can end up destroying it if they're not careful. And you have to be able to be willing to work with each other and listen and talk to each other, because you have to love your community to make sure it grows. And that's really essentially what Dietrich was talking about. I wish I had the exact quote, but you can look it up, Chris. I'll spell it for you later. You do know him. He's very good. So the other thing is, the final thing I would say is I voted against the resolution for the increase. I don't think it's any surprise. I don't think we needed to raise the taxes. I think we could have done better, but I just wanted people to know that that's why I voted against it. I think we need to cut down our reliance. And that, by the way, I really do think that the Finance Committee did a good job. And thank you for taking over, Chris, and for Steve prior to that, and Roberto and Jerry and staff. Even Kevin, who we used to go round and round on some of the stuff, did a great job. But I think the Finance Committee did a wonderful job, contrary to some other opinions. I would also urge the new council members to challenge when it comes to the budget. Question and challenge. Don't just rubber stamp it. Don't believe that just because it's developed that way, you should give in to that. Challenge each other, and I think you'll do well. So I want to thank you very much, Jerry. It's been a pleasure, and it's been a pleasure working with everybody else on the council. And again, good luck to everybody in the next term.
Councilman Morse.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. You know, sometimes it's good to look back to see where you're coming from in order to reassess and reevaluate where you want to reach. So I did a brief reflection on the last 4 years, and I want to thank the mayor and the rest of the council members who have afforded me the privilege to serve on this council. I look back on the last 4 years, and we inherited a dysfunctional staff that was operating inefficiently. We went through a few changes and finally put together a team of professionals consisting of Jerry, Denise, Emily, Roberto, Shelley, Katie. We put together a team of professionals who love our vision, love the town, and have a unified commitment in working together, and that made my job much easier. Even though we had, back then, 4 years ago, a really nice manager, he lacked the essential elements that was necessary to take our town to the next level, and today we have a business manager who commands the highest level of respect from his peers, as well as his subordinates, one who has the wisdom and professionalism to support the council as we move forward. We had a rabid environment in the town council that was seated up here, one that became very poisonous. It did not promote a safe environment for residents to share their views without being ridiculed. Certainly today we don't agree on a lot of issues, right, Ms. Edwards? But we understand the importance of respect and the responsibility placed on our shoulders by the residents to work together and laying our differences aside and putting the benefits of the town first. Our police department, we had an old boy mentality with a lack of integrity and professionalism, resulting in numerous newspaper articles. We went through a couple of growing pains, and we saw the changing of the old guard, and now we can proudly stand behind a chief who has the ability and integrity to oversee a professional department that can be compared to their peers in larger jurisdiction. Our town center, we had a large percentage not being used effectively, as our government offices were housed in different locations. And moving forward with our plans to renovate, we acted on our plans to house the government offices in one location, and we moved the police department into the lower level of the town center building. Speaking of the police department, it was housed in a dilapidated building where officers were subjected to flooding issues and lack of proper ventilation and limited cooling and heating equipment. Today we can look back and we can see we had the Leo's hazardous duty pay benefit, increase in training budget, new vehicle acquisition program, access to deferred compensation program, process to recognize exceptional acts by our officers, and certainly we now have a group of police officers with renewed interest and zeal to perform their job, knowing that what they're doing benefits the town. Our park, we had an investment which was mostly in waste. We acted rapidly in repurposing one of the two structures on the park and have been using this property for its intended purpose, a recreational location for our residents. Throughout the town, we had dormant properties. The town had quite a few eyesore properties, with the owners having no incentives to develop them and limited power to persuade them to clean up these properties. And today, we have developed a blight ordinance which gives us the authority to enforce corrective measures on owners of dilapidated buildings within the town limits, and have been successful in getting commitments from most of them. Recently have gotten in touch with the Fire Marshal Office of the county to do inspections. Our museum, we had a strong core of volunteers, but we lacked vision, and today, with a renewed focus, has reinstated this prideful and historic acquisition of the town. Adjoining jurisdiction, we had a broken relationship with the surrounding police departments, the county government, and emergency services, and today, with renewed respect from our neighbors, which can be seen throughout the work that is being done, especially with our police department support from our adjoining neighbors. And finally, one of my personal pet peeves in joining the town council, with our legal fees way over $120,000, to date $41,446.22. Last 4 years has been great, and we're on a path right now to accomplish some really good things for our small town. So I want to thank the staff for the privilege that I've had to serve alongside you guys. I don't know if the journey's ending here. We'll pray and we'll see where it goes. But I just want to thank you for making my job easier. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Oh, great. Excellent. All right, Councilman Cole.
I don't have any prepared remarks. That was lovely. And Joe, same. It's been grand working with all of you. This is my second time to leave the council, and thank you, Dottie, for your comments and your service as well. We are in such a fine place. your picture was a little dour, but we are in a great place. And I think the new council members, you're walking in, there's a big challenge to finish out projects and keep them moving. But I think that this council and the people that are remaining have set it up well. You've got a great staff. You guys are wonderful. And I hope you're happy, because I want you to stay a long time. So you know where I live. Come and get me if you have questions or issues, and I'll be happy to help any way I can. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Councilman Shannon.
I love our little town. When my wife and I moved in here 2 years ago, this past April, we wanted to get involved. Didn't take but a very short time until I met the mayor and most of the council up at the QBE building. I guess for Sergeant
Dandria.
For his home. And I just saw what this town was doing right away. It didn't take long until I was asked, when I commented, that I look forward to helping out somehow. I was asked to maybe consider the planning commission, which I did. So I've been a member of the planning commission, and then had the real honor. I won't mention Council Morris by name, but there was a special councilman that every time I turned around, he was like, "Town council next," and I said, "Absolutely not." But I am honored, and I'm privileged that I was asked to step in for. I believe he was a vice mayor at the time, was he not? Steve, yeah,
Steve, yes, sir.
and to step in and appointed by you all, and I truly thank you. Gave me a head start on some of our other new councilmen, council ladies, but they're smart and they're going to jump right in. I really want to thank Vice Mayor Passanello. I want to thank Councilman Cole and Councilman Morris. I've learned a lot from them. I really have. And thank you, you three, so much. To my fellow councilmen, for the next 2 years, I too welcome you, and I look forward to serving with you. We have on our plate a good direction, a good platform that we can continue on. We're going to be looked at, we're going to be graded on how we accomplish what this council has started. I believe we'll come out with an A+ rating at the end. Again, and I want to thank the citizens that have come speak, especially Dottie Leonard. I've learned so much from her. She is a walking history book and encyclopedia of this town, which I truly appreciate. So, Mr. Mayor and my fellow councilmen, thank you for the opportunity to serve now, and I look forward to our next 2 years and our team. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Councilman Leake.
Vice Mayor, Councilman Morris, Councilman Cole, it's been an absolute pleasure. The beautiful thing, as Councilman Morris said, is that not all the time do we all agree upon the same thing, but we have a huge amount of respect for one another at this dais, to where we can still be friends, shake hands, and smile and laugh together. And there's never any hard feelings or burned bridges after any of our meetings. We truly do get along, and I think that's something that is just outstanding, because not all other jurisdictions and counties and governments have that within their jurisdictions. But we're very blessed that we all get along very well together and are able to do such great things for this town. Staff, as always, I greatly appreciate everything that you all do, and I look forward to working with you for the next 2 years. And if there's anything that you all ever need from us, I hope you don't hesitate to ask us. You do the day-to-day grunt work, and we're so thankful for everything that you all do on a daily basis. Chief, thank you for turning this department and keeping it moving forward. Can't thank you enough. Sergeant Schaefer, you as well. You do more of the work than Chief does, and he takes half the credit. We don't need to call him out on that, but you know. But seriously, in our public, our citizens that we represent on a daily basis, at the end of the day, we are your voice and we represent you. So if there's anything that we can ever do for you all you have to do is reach out to us and ask, because at the end of the day, it's not what our opinions are, it's what your opinions are, and it's what you want to see done within this community, and we can act upon that. And no further, Mayor.
Okay. Councilwoman Edwards.
I don't have too much. I look very forward to the next couple of years. Everything is just right there on the horizon, and I see it's there. I've lived in this town for almost 22 years, so I'm very excited for some of those things to finally be coming to a conclusion. I think all the puzzle pieces are in place, and I think if we just keep our eye on the prize, I think it's going to be great. We have great residents here. You know, when I'm out, I talk to them, and for the most part, you know, people have concerns, but they're very happy. They like where the town's going. They like, they're very happy with the staff. I can't tell you at the ARB meeting how many applicants just every time that they come through, they compliment Emily on how she has helped them through the process. And I just think we have such a great staff, and we should be very thankful for that as well. I mean, the police department is our staff too, but we're thankful for you too. But it's really a great feeling when you go into a meeting and you don't dread going into it, because you know that, you know, it's not going to be that adversarial, you know, people have their feelings hurt. So I'm looking forward to it, and you all come visit us.
Absolutely. All right. Well, great. My closing thoughts, you know, it's almost like a train ride, but as Councilman Morris has brought us down the tracks of our history, we had a train that was going in the wrong direction. And it's not easy to turn a train around, especially with years and years of things that were going on. So leaving it better than the way we find it each and every council term has been refreshing to know that we all made a difference. This is not a single person thing. This is a collective body that comes together, and you're right. We might not all get along, and you know, but we, at the end of the day, we embrace the decision and move forward. And for such, we have done an amazing job. And I look back at just some of those things that you had brought back. Matter of fact, I wondered if you had my speech there for a minute. But thanks for taking us back to that history. You know, when I first got involved, I never even thought about running for office at all. But it was seeing a need and coming to that need and running. And I can still remember election night with Mrs. Edwards as we sat there and watched the votes come in, and knowing that, wow, we're going to be a part of a change, make a part of a difference for this town. So there again, I thank the dais here, all the members that sacrificed their time and energy for our town, and thank you. And of course, staff and our amazing police department. Yep, absolutely. So with that,
Mayor, one thing that I think a lot of us forgot here is Councilman Aiken, who served on this term and stepped down for family reasons, which we all would have done the exact same for. But I think that we all owe Councilman Aiken a huge thank you for everything that he dedicated to the town over the years. And just, Steve, if you're watching, thank you, buddy.
yeah, and just to dovetail on that, it was Earth Day when I had already put my name in to run, but I needed others. This couldn't be solved, our problem couldn't be solved without the help on the dais. And it was Councilman Aiken that was the first one that stepped up and said, I'll help you. You know, I'll make the time. So, yeah, Steve, thank you for really, you know, standing behind me and helping get the others to come on this team to make the difference. So, yep. All right. With that, I think that most important.
I'd love the privilege.
Yes.
Move to adjourn.
Okay. And.
Can I do it again? Can I do a recall?
Yeah.
Can I do a
So
recall?
we'll go ahead. A motion to adjourn.
A roll call vote.
Okay,
Roll
well,
call vote.
And
Can I do a recall?
Motion's been seconded by
Doesn't matter.
Councilwoman Edwards. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you all, thank you.